Hello, I'm Tina, a third year student from Aquatic Resource Science and Management from Unimas. In this video, I would to share with you guys a topic on fish migrations. So don't forget to give me a like and subscribe my channel. So let's check it out. Okay, what is migrations? Migrations can be defined as the orderly movements of animals from one place to another place in search of food, breeding, habitat, and better climate, as stated by Navi et al. 2014 and according to Cook et al. 2011, in the case of fishes that the life history needs of populations such as foraging and reproductions cannot be met by a single habitat. This is due to the variability in the habitat's conditions such as temperature or the changing needs of the population itself. Out of 35,000 species, only approximately 2.5% of all fish species undertake migrations, and the physical scale of migration is highly variable and can range from hundreds of meters, as in some coastal and stream-dwelling fishes, to thousands of kilometers. Okay, why do fish migrate? For survival, fish migrate to new suitable habitat for feeding and reproductions, as the feeding and spawning ground are separated in terms of space and time. Some fishes migrate in order to escape from predators, while others disperse in all directions, ensuring their expansions and survival. Okay, continue with the next slide. When fish will start migrations. Fish start migration when it achieves a certain threshold of body size or age, depending on the growth rate and the hatching dates. In the second steps, is when they achieve certain physiological characteristics such as energy accumulations, osmoregulations, and smoltifications. All these physiological functions are regulated by hormones. Thus, most important one is thyroxine. The third step is the receptions of exogenous and endogenous triggers that initiate the migratory behaviors. Okay, there are two things that triggers the migratory, which is the extrinsic triggers and intrinsic triggers. Extrinsic triggers also can be known as the environmental triggers. Environmental factors is very important for fish migration, such as water level, current and discharge, precipitations, lunar cycle, apparitions of insect, turbidity, photo period, temperature and oxygen concentrations, fish density, and also needed for fish searching for food. Okay, next is the intrinsic factors that include the instinct, physiological factors, and the hormone. Migration is an innate and instinctive behaviors, and it is a genetic makeup that developed these instincts in the concerned species. And for the physiological factors is such as the ripenings of gonads, secretions of hormones, and biological clock. A number of hormones secreted by the pituitary gland, such as prolactin, corticotrophins, and growth hormones, are responsible for osmo and ion regulation in fish during migrations. Okay, we continue with the methods of fish migration. There are three methods of fish migrations, which is drifting, random swimming, and oriented swimming movement. Drifting is just like fishes are carried passively by the water current. Meanwhile, random swimming are fishes released from a point in a uniform environment and spreading out in all directions. Meanwhile, for oriented swimming movements, fishes move in a particular directions, which may be either towards or away from one habitat or at some angle to an imaginary line running between them and the sources of stimulations. Okay, there are four types of fish migratory that focusing on the foods, response to harsh climate conditions, and for spawning purposes, and water currents. So the type of migrations is the climatic or refuge migrations, feeding migrations, spawning migrations, and water current migrations. Water current migrations were divided into two: detentant migration and continental migrations. Detentant migration is the fishes migrate follow the directions of water current, and for continentals is vice versa. Okay, types of fish migrations on the basis of directions. Okay, under this there are several migrations, and the importance is three migrations, which is diadromous migrations, potamodromous migrations, and oceanodromous migrations. Diadromous migrations is migrations between freshwater and seawater. Under this migration there are three more migrations, which is catadromous migrations, anadromous migrations, and amphidromous migrations. Catadromous migration is the fish migration from fresh water to the sea, to the oceans for spawning, such as European eel, Maquera novemaculata or Myxus plurality species. And for anadromous migrations is the journey of marine fishes from sea to freshwater for spawning, such as salmon, trout, and lamprey. And for amphidromous migrations is the migrations of fishes from sea to freshwater or vice versa, but not for spawning, and it's mainly for food and change of environments. And for potamodromous migrations is the fish migrations from one place to another place within fresh water, such as delios and catfish. As for oceanodromous migrations, they are long journey from one place to another within the sea, such as cod, mackerels, and Atlantic herrings. As for migrations, there are two other migrations, which is vertical migrations and horizontal migrations. Vertical migration is occurs in throughout the ocean, seas, and lakes, and many species of fish and invertebrates are found to make vertical migrations within 24 hours periodicity, usually toward the surface at dusk and toward the bottoms at dawn. It was driven by the needs to avoid predators. And for horizontal migrations, the daily vertical migrations are modulated by small-scale horizontal migrations involved in feeding and predator avoidance, such as reef fish and Atlantic cod and herrings. Sorry. Okay. Okay. First also give advantage and disadvantages itself. And for the advantages from fish migrations is that it can get a better utilizations of the new habitat and their resources. And sometimes one particular habitat do not have enough food to support both adult and offspring, so due to migrations they have separate feeding and breeding nursery grounds. Apart from that, it's also providing suitable climatic conditions for breeding and survivals of the youngs. As for the disadvantages, long journey is wasteful and many migrating fishes get losses while migrating, and numerous migrating fishes are eaten by the predators. And apart from that, dams construction, checks migrations, and the concerns fish species also become extinct. As we know that dams constructions have a lot of negative impacts to aquatic ecosystems and organisms.